What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of A Drink and a Thought with Don Ramiro. Today, we're going to get a little bit into tequila. So, tequila is definitely going to be the most popular liquor in the world, you could say. Today, I'm doing Dulce Vida. So, this is a Dulce Vida Blanco tequila. This is going to be organic, actually. So, it's a little bit cleaner. Tasting notes on this is going to be good amount of citrus, a little bit of pepper. You're gonna get that fresh roasted agave, a little bit of an earthiness to it. So typically tequila is gonna be distilled 2 times. Blancos are always gonna be unaged for the most part. Reposados, those are gonna be aged anywhere from 2 months to a year. If tequila's an añejo, it's gonna be a year to 3 years. Now, everything aged over 3 years is going to be extra añejo. Now, typically for sipping tequilas, you really want to do a aged spirit, which is going to be aged in either one barrel or a combination of different oak barrels, reposado, añejo, extra añejo. But today we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to live on the wild side and I'm going to sip on a blanco. Now, if the blanco is made well, distilled well, made in a good distillery, you could sip on a nice blanco as well. A lot of people will do it either chilled over an ice cube, or you could do just a traditional shot. Blancos are typically what are used in your more popular cocktails around the world. So your margarita, your paloma, your ranch water, your sunrise, those are typically going to be blanco tequilas there. Whew. Very smooth, a little bit of sweetness to it. Again, Dulce Vida. This bottle retails probably around $30, $35, depending on where you buy it here in the U.S. Very popular tequila. So today for the topic, it is summertime coming up. So I know a lot of people are trying to get their bodies in shape, for the beach, for the pool, for the parties. And what's been popular, mainly what a lot of people are pushing, is a lot of the intermittent fasting, eating 1 meal a day. And I will say that can work for some people. If you've tried it and it works for you, then by all means stick to it. But there's also a lot of people that can't really go that long, without eating, especially if you're, trying to be productive at work. You definitely want to have, full use of your brain function. My personal recommendation, I actually prefer, eating or drinking something every 2 to 3 hours. Now that's going to depend on your specific diet plan, on how many calories you're consuming per day, what your target goal is as far as, fat loss. But typically you want to aim for, anywhere from 15 to 30 grams of protein every couple of hours. Whole foods are going to be more preferable, but, you can use some shakes, you can use some bars from time to time, but you definitely want to emphasize whole foods. If you've never tried to get on a cut before, I definitely recommend for at least a whole week, write down everything that you consume. And that includes all, liquid calories, any kind of seasonings, basically anything you put in your mouth, write it down. That'll give you kind of a base idea of where you're at. And then it can also kind of show you where you can actually cut calories from, just simple things as maybe not adding in a sauce on this meal, or maybe doing a smaller portion of this meal. But for the most part, both diets can work. Like I say, always, talk to your trainer, your doctor, and do the best plan that's best for you. I personally like, every couple hours, that's kind of how a lot of the guys did it, back in the golden era, I would say. So you definitely want to emphasize a lot of, fresh whole foods, whole eggs. You could do egg whites, turkey sausage, extra lean ground beef, filet mignon, flounder, tilapia. These are all going to be good protein sources as far as your carbohydrate sources. Sweet potato, brown rice, oatmeal, cream of rice, and definitely don't be afraid of fruits. Fruits are going to have some fructose in it, but that's more of a natural sugar, and they're going to have a lot of, fiber, vitamins, nutrients, minerals. That's going to, help with your energy production. It's going to help for you to, kind of keep those sugar cravings away. It'll keep you on your calorie deficit as you're trying to get, the six pack and, get shredded for summertime. I will admit, you probably shouldn't be doing this every single day if you're trying to get shredded. You can, it really just kind of depends on, what your, how many calories you're aiming to consume a day to stay in that deficit to lose that body fat. I would try to aim for maybe 1 to 2 pounds of fat per week. So you're talking, maybe 8 to 10 pounds of fat per month if you're, doing your cut correctly. But yeah, I'm just not a big fan of the fasting. It's a strategy that's never really personally worked for me. Now, what I can say is, what you can do instead, you could kind of do what I would call kind of like a backward fast. So basically, you wake up, you train, and then post-workout, that's when you're going to have your heaviest meal of the day. Like for example, we'll just use, let's say 4 whole eggs, cream of rice, a little bit of honey, and a small piece of fruit. And then a couple hours later, maybe you'll do a shake 2 or 3 hours later. And then for lunch, maybe we'll do, 6 ounces of extra lean ground beef with some broccoli. And then for your next meal, maybe another shake or a small protein bar. And then for dinner, you could do like 4 ounces of white fish and either asparagus or no asparagus, but you get the deal. You're kind of cutting the calories as the day goes on. So you can kind of go to bed slightly hungry. Sometimes that works better for people. If you can kind of, suck your stomach in in like a vacuum right before bed, that's going to kind of be a better feeling, better way mentally to, get your mind on that fat loss plan versus, going to bed starving or going to bed, completely full because you're doing a 1-a-day diet. But yeah, definitely the most important thing is to make sure that your diet is on point. Definitely the whole foods. I really want to emphasize that, and keep the tequila minimal. But the good thing with tequila is it does, they say that it does help with digestion and helps with a little bit of reflux. It's probably the most healthier when it comes to digestive issues, stomach issues, whatnot. I like it because it tastes good. So, but anyways, guys, we're gonna keep at it. I'm gonna keep reviewing a drink every week. We're gonna talk about our self-development here, whether that's fat loss, muscle building, trying to get better with the ladies. It is summertime, so this is definitely the time, guys. You really want to be on your A game. Have your fashion on point, have your physique on point, and have your game on point. So thanks everybody for watching, and we will talk next week.